The Formula One Championship battle has taken another dramatic turn, as McLaren has reversed its decision to impose consequences on Lando Norris, following a comprehensive review of the sprint race crash at the United States Grand Prix. The team had previously announced repercussions for Norris after he was deemed at fault for colliding with teammate Oscar Piastri at the start of the Singapore Grand Prix, but a new incident in Austin has forced the team to completely reconsider its position. The original controversy began in Singapore, when Norris forced Piastri wide at Turn 1, prompting an immediate reaction from the Australian driver. Piastri's frustration was clear over team radio, as he stated that wasn't very team-like, and questioned, "Are we cool with Lando just barging me out of the way?" McLaren took no immediate action during the race, which fueled rumours that Norris was receiving favourable treatment within the garage. The incident was particularly sensitive given that Piastri had been ordered to allow Norris to overtake him at the Italian Grand Prix due to the team's botched pit stop strategy, creating a perception of systematic bias toward the British driver. Following post-race analysis, McLaren determined that Norris was responsible for the Singapore collision and announced there would be consequences for the remainder of the season. According to reports from rival teams, these repercussions were believed to relate to Piastri getting to choose whether he would leave the garage before or after Norris for the final part of qualifying sessions. Red Bull sources suggested to Sky Sports F1 commentator Ted Kravitz in Texas that Oscar will be effectively treated in the qualifying sessions as the number one driver. French broadcaster Canal Plus corroborated this information, reporting that Piastri would have the choice of qualifying order for every remaining session of the season. However, the punishment was widely criticized as insignificant, with one analysis describing it as being as significant as getting hit in the face by a wet lettuce leaf. Norris himself cryptically stated that you would have to be clever to work out what the repercussions actually were. The consequences proved ineffective in Austin, where Norris qualified on the front row next to pole sitter Max Verstappen, while Piastri started from 6th position, and Norris was also significantly quicker than Piastri in sprint qualifying. The situation became even more complicated during the sprint race at the Circuit of the Americas, when both McLaren drivers crashed out at the first corner. The incident occurred when Alonso took a very tight line on the inside of Turn 1, forcing Nico Hülkenberg's Sauber to miss the apex of the corner to leave space for the Aston Martin driver. When Piastri attempted an aggressive cutback from the outside to get a run on Norris, who had gone deep defending his position, the Australian had to scrub off significant speed. This resulted in Piastri driving across the front of Hülkenberg's car, colliding with the Sauber and then bouncing into Norris's McLaren, eliminating both papaya cars from the sprint race. McLaren initially blamed the incident on Hülkenberg and Alonso, claiming both drivers could have shown more prudence in the situation. However, the team conducted a thorough post-event review to avoid it becoming a distraction from qualifying and the Grand Prix. During this analysis, McLaren revised its position on Piastri's role in the crash, accepting that the championship leader could have been more careful with his aggressive maneuver. Piastri himself acknowledged his share of responsibility for the collision. The revised assessment led McLaren to make a significant decision regarding team dynamics. With Verstappen closing in rapidly on both drivers in the championship standings, the team opted to undo its intervention from Singapore. Piastri confirmed the new approach, stating, "We've gone through it again. We go through every weekend, regardless of what's happened." He added, "There is a degree of responsibility from my side on the sprint, and we're starting this weekend on a clean slate for both of us. Just going out and racing and see who can come out on top." The Australian driver explicitly confirmed that the consequences on Lando's side have been removed, and acknowledged that his aggressive cutback out of Turn 1 had meant he took some of the blame for the Austin clash. McLaren's decision is partly based on fairness principles, given that Norris had been punished for accidentally causing contact in Singapore, but also reflects the team's awareness of the serious title threat now posed by Verstappen. The championship implications of the Austin sprint race disaster were severe for both McLaren drivers. The 0-point finish for both Norris and Piastri was particularly painful, as Verstappen went on to win both the sprint race and the main Grand Prix on Sunday. Through these victories, Verstappen gained 23 points on Piastri, which is almost the equivalent of a full race win's worth of points. The Dutch driver is now just 40 points behind the championship leader and only 16 points behind Norris in second place. The championship standings heading into the final stretch show Piastri still leading but under immense pressure, with Norris 14 points behind and Verstappen charging hard from third position. With 5 Grand Prix and 2 sprint races remaining in the season, the title fight has become a genuine three-way battle. Verstappen's recent form has been nothing short of dominant, as he has scored 119 out of a maximum possible 133 points in the past 5 race weekends, demonstrating devastating momentum when it matters most. Sky Sports commentator David Croft perfectly captured the situation after the race, saying, "I keep getting reminded of that scene in Jurassic Park. 2 people sat in a Jeep, trying to escape the dinosaurs. And there's a T-Rex charging after them. And there's your T-Rex, ladies and gentlemen. Max and Lando and Oscar are in the Jeep." This analogy resonates strongly given that Verstappen has become an equal favourite to win the title according to at least one bookmaker, despite trailing by 40 points. Piastri's championship defence has hit a concerning patch of form. The Melbourne native has now gone 4 races without finishing on the podium, and his qualifying performance in Austin, where he started 6th while his teammate secured a front row start, raises questions about his ability to maintain his championship lead. The pressure appears to be mounting on the 24-year-old driver, as both his teammate and the 3-time world champion close in from behind. The decision to remove Norris's consequences has sparked debate about team management and fairness. McLaren's handling of the situation reflects the delicate balance required when managing 2 competitive drivers fighting for a world championship while also protecting team interests. The team publicly blamed Norris for Singapore, with Piastri stating, "We analysed the incident. There has been responsibility placed on Lando, ultimately, in that collision." He had also said, "I'm very happy that there's no favoritism or bias," and confirmed they had a lot of discussions that were very productive. Piastri emphasized the team's clarity on racing standards, stating, "I think we're very clear on how we want to go racing as a team. The incident we had in Singapore isn't how we want to go racing." Lando has taken responsibility for that, and so has the team. "I think it's quite clear for us as a team that how lap 1 unfolded wasn't how we want to go racing." However, the swift removal of consequences after the Austin incident has raised questions among fans about consistency in McLaren's approach to managing driver conflicts. The clean slate approach means McLaren will run its race weekends as normal, without any predetermined advantages for either driver. This decision acknowledges both the need for fairness after Piastri's mistake and the urgent requirement to maximize points for both drivers as Verstappen's championship challenge intensifies. McLaren cannot afford further internal incidents that result in 0-point finishes, while their main rival capitalizes on every opportunity. The coming races will determine whether this reset can help McLaren protect its championship position, or if the intra-team drama has already given Verstappen the opening he needs to secure his 5th world title.